very condescending to the idea of force the vote. It was very, I mean, he basically belittled the whole thing and compared it to like children seeking candy and not fucking, people trying desperately to fight for healthcare to save people's lives. I completely dismissed it. And I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, he's allowed to disagree with us. Like, whatever. We didn't have him on to have a debate. We just had him on to have a conversation. So we were like, all right, this is your fucking take, I guess. But yeah, I mean, obviously we disagreed, and it got cut out of the clip. But Gavin, I thought, did a good job respectfully pushing back on a 92-year-old who gets a little crotchety when you don't just accept what the fuck he says.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And also, to me, the sense that I got from Chomsky when I asked him about this was that to what extent he did understand force the vote, he had only heard someone's take who was against force the vote. So like he'd heard someone, maybe read like an article about it or something, like, just trying to dismantle the logic, and he was coming at it from that, and he hadn't really heard, someone make the case affirmatively for it or explain why it was a good idea. That wouldn't really be excusable as a, leading leftist intellectual if you weren't 92. And I do feel like he probably doesn't have the same access or media diet that we do. He probably, is still reading more of the establishment or legacy news. So I just feel like he's probably not plugged into the conversation enough to even have really had that nuance of an opinion on it. So, in that sense, I'm just like, it is what it is. I asked for his opinion. I was genuinely interested in his opinion. His opinion was not my opinion. And I wish I wish we had had longer with him so that I could have adequately, educated him or tried to explain it as it was. We had a bunch of questions we had to move on to. We only had 30 minutes with the guy that we already went 10 minutes over. But needless to say, it was disappointing for certain, and especially for someone who was an artist syndicalist at one point. I don't know if he still does. I will say it was somewhat shocking to the extent, not just in that answer, but in every answer in the interview, the extent to which he was just relying on the institutions to carry us forward, when it is very clearly the institutions which have failed us up until this point. I thought another answer that really underscored that was when I asked him about climate change, essentially asking him